Okay, so the first thing you're going to need is some line art, and here I have some clean line art, so that just means the line art is on its own layer, and it's nice and clean as you can see, and that's because I digitally inked this one. But if you are scanning in an image, then you might have line art that's more like this. So this is not separated on its own layer, the lines are on the same layer as the background, and I want to make it so the lines are on their own layer. Now, why do I want it so the lines are on their own layer? Well, you don't actually have to have the lines on their own layer, but the advantage to it is that I can color the lines. So for instance, with this one, because the line art is on its own layer, I could just preserve the transparency and take a brush and just like color these lines like so. You know, any color I wanted, I could do that. Whereas with this, let's just say I had the lines on their own layer and they're set to multiply. That would be fine. I could definitely paint underneath and the lines would still show, but if I wanted to individually color these lines, it's a bit more work. So how do I get it so these lines are on their own layer like this line? Now, if you don't have a scanned line art and you have digital line art, you can skip this part, but if you do have scanned line art, I'm going to show you how to do that. So the first thing I want to do is I'm just going to change my color to pure black, and I'm going to select this whole image with Control A or Command A if you're on a Mac, and Control L or Command L, and this brings up the levels window. And what I want to do is get this color to be as close to white as possible. So I'm just going to move this rightmost arrow to the middle, and you can see what happens as I move it more to the left side. You're gonna get brighter and brighter. So I want to move it so everything's white, so about this point, but we have the black is clean as well, so maybe something like this. So now what's happened is that if I zoom in here, all those little texture, see how we had a bunch of texture? That's all gone, right? Okay, and I'll just zoom out. Okay, now with this still selected with Control A, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this out. So I usually like to duplicate my layers just so I have an original at all times. It's just a force of habit at this point. You don't really need to do this, but it's something that I like to do just cause. I like to just duplicate the layer and then turn that off because I don't need that. So now I've got this on its own layer, and it's the exact same thing as that. And fast way to duplicate if you're not sure. Say I wanted to duplicate the background, I could either hit Control J, which just duplicates the layer, or another method is drag it to the new layer icon and it will duplicate the layer. So it's the same thing. Okay, so I'm going to select this with Control A and I'm going to hit Control X. So what's that's going to do is it's going to cut the image. So now the image is gone, and now I'm going to fill this canvas with black. So there, we have all black. Now I'm going to hit Q, or you could click this button here, and that puts us in quick mask mode. And now I'm going to hit Control V, which places the image back. But now everything that was black turned red, and everything that was white remains black. And that means that when I get out of quick mask mode, when I press Q again, it's going to create a selection, but it's only going to select what was white. It's going to leave everything that was black. So all that stuff that was red is not selected. I hope that makes sense. And then you just hit delete. And now what's happened is I've got all the lines on their own layer, and it's hard to see right now because we have the transparency, but if I fill this layer underneath it with white, there. So it's pretty similar to what we had before, right? That's what we had before, and this is this now, but the lines are on their own layer. So now if I wanted, I could go ahead and color these lines, you know, any color I wanted, just the same way I could do with this clean line art.